Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. I have a bit of a new setup this time. I finally broke down, got a little attachment for my tripod so that way I can attach my phone to it. It's a lot easier to work with. Allows me to be able to see what I'm doing without having to balance the phone on random things around, and it also allows me to control better the angle because I haven't liked some of the angles I've gotten in the past. But anyway, the Christie's Missing Readathon is done. I got so much reading done. I read over 5,000 pages. Significantly increased the, sorry, my mouth is super dry. Let me take care of that. Drastically increased the number of books that I've read for this year. But I always do during Christie's Missing just because it is a very busy time for me. I read through Agatha Christie books really quickly. Christmas trees up. I wanted to get that a view. I actually have the Christmas ornaments, a couple of the Christmas ornaments I made on there. I think this actually might be one of my designs. I can't remember because I do have a few ornaments that I designed that are over there. I'm pretty sure this is one of them because I went through a period of time where it's also knitting other people's designs. I have another couple that are off camera that I actually, yeah, that one's far. You can kind of see this one. This one is an Arn and Carlos one that I knit. So that one's not my design, but I'm pretty sure this was one of my designs. Anyway, so I have a couple of other Christmas ornaments and knit Christmas stockings that I made. All the Christmas ornaments on the mantelpiece are ones I designed. And one of the Christmas stockings is one that I designed. The other ones I just knit. But anyway, back to planned programming. So I just want to run through, a few of the things that I've been reading. I will probably end up creating a video for each one of them because I just realized that otherwise it'll be long, most likely. But maybe I'll do the Agatha Christie ones, or the ones I read for Agatha Christie's read along together, just because there's not going to be a whole lot I'm going to have to say about those books. I don't know why my mouth's so dry. Anyway. So, first things first. I have to reach off camera. This is a reread for me, which is why it's mostly just a flash it and show it. This is also the first time I've gotten this book in this collection. I used to have all my Agatha Christie's in paperback, but I had destashed, but I unhauled a bunch of them way back ago before I started doing booktube, and I decided I wanted this collection within the past year or so. This makes me think of a collection that you would see in the library. Actually, I'm pretty sure these are this is the collection from which I would have read most of my library Agatha Christie books when I was borrowing them or just reading them there. So this is 3-Act Tragedy. The other title for this one is this is 3-Act Murder in 3 Acts. Yeah, Murder in 3 Acts. But I believe this might be the British title. But yeah, this is, you can't feel it obviously through the screen, but it's kind of squishy. It's just a really nice feel to it. This one, like most of the ones that I've been getting from this collection, is used. You can't tell though because it was in new condition, so very good shape. What's interesting about this one is It's one of the few ones where you have Hercule Poirot in it, but you also have the mysterious Mr. Quinn's sidekick character in it. Mr. Satterwith, I believe is his name. Hang on, I always missay his name. Yeah, Satterthwaite. Or Satterthwaite. There's only one other point that I believe I've seen these two characters together, Poirot and Satterthwaite, and that was in a short story, novella kind of story, and it's blast. I don't have my I have my phone with me. I'm recording off of it. Dead Man's Mirror. It was a short story novella, Dead Man's Mirror. Satterthwaite is at the very beginning of that, for that Hercule Poirot, short story or novella. But otherwise, this is the only other work that I believe I've seen Satterthwaite outside of The Mysterious Mr. Quinn. So, it's a good read. I mean, I enjoy most of Christie's work. There are ones that I'll look at and be like, well, this wasn't her best, particularly the ones written around the time period that she went missing. So that was, I believe, she went missing in, what was it, 25? That might be too early. Anyway, so that the year she released the Murder of Roger Ackroyd, she went missing after she released that. And then she ended up having to write and release The Big Four and The Blue Train after she came back. And it shows, though neither of those are her best work. And actually, she very much disliked both of those works. She thought that they were terrible, and that after that point, she started keeping like a couple of novels in the can, so if something were to happen, she wouldn't be in a position where she had to write and couldn't get anything out. I know that she held back several things, like that were supposed to be like for a rainy day. I know that Curtain was supposed to be released posthumously anyway. I forget a couple of the other ones that I heard that she kept to be released later. Or I think she also had a few that she wrote for a specific person to be released, and then after she passed or whatever, that to go towards that person, those proceeds. I think I read that in the Golden Age of Murder. But I'm also currently reading, I don't have it over here because I got it quite like a year or two ago. It's the Agatha Christie biography. So a lot of the more up-to-date facts that are just off the top of my head, they come from that because I am currently reading that. Anyway, that was Murder in 3 Acts or 3-Act Tragedy. Then, because the way that the way that the challenges were set up, yes, read as much Agatha Christie as you can, but if another author fit within the categories, you could also read that author. And I think I mentioned last time that I wanted to read my next one in Diane Freeman's Countess of Harley series. And this is the last one I have in physical form. I have the next one on Kindle, and then I have a pre-order on Kindle as well. I just can't justify getting all of these physical. They're easy enough to read on Kindle, and they're not like my Agatha Christie's where I might, there's a bit of an emotional attachment from years of reading these. And also the copies, this is a very different quality copy. So, but yeah, I will be reading the rest of this series on Kindle most likely. Plus, she's actively releasing books, so it kind of, if she keeps releasing, I just can't justify continuing to get these books physical. But anyway, I did enjoy this. It's just really, I wouldn't say there's anything necessarily stellar about any of these books. I don't consider them to be, I consider there to be levels of cozy mysteries. This isn't, some cozy mysteries, they feel like they're really low effort in the way that they're written, and that maybe the characterizations aren't very well done. They just feel like they're basically meant to quickly take in, quickly enjoy, and that's it. I don't tend to care much for the more modern idea of the cozy mysteries. They're just not my preference. I just don't find them very interesting. A lot of times I've just usually am not able to connect with the characters, and yeah, just generally not interested. This does not fall in that. I would put this somewhere between those cozies and an Agatha Christie, where I wouldn't, say that there's necessarily a whole lot of challenge. I mean, you aren't going to have to be looking a lot for hidden clues or anything like that. It's mostly just a fun time. But that being said, I do enjoy myself every time I read them. But I don't go back and say, oh, that's where she laid that clue there. I don't know that all authors follow the rules of the Detection Club now, where Agatha Christie, the rules of the Detection Club also covered in The Golden Age of Murder. If you haven't read The Golden Age of Murder, I highly recommend it. I'll have to pull it out again and show it on screen at some point, because I do reference it every once in a while. But they go through the rules of the Detection Club, which included people like Chesterton. You had Dorothy L. Sayers in there. You had, what's his name, Dixon Carr? I haven't read all the Golden Age mystery authors. You had, blast. I have a couple of the ladies off that are kind of like sitting back here. I said Dorothy L. Sayers already. Marjorie Allingham, and can't pull the other one out of my brain, even though I could see a couple of her book covers in my head, but I can't pull her name out because I haven't actually read any of her books yet. But anyway, with the Detection Club, they have very specific rules. You had to be able to, if you looked back, you'd be like, oh yeah, they did leave clues in place that if I was paying attention, I could have picked up the traces and potentially have solved the mystery myself. The whole idea of fair play. Very stereotypically British, at least of the era, because how many times does Hastings say that when Poirot listens at doorways or tells yet another, lie to get the information that he needs, and Hastings will say, it's not playing the game, and Poirot will be like, murder is not a game. But those are those two quick books. The next one, which was a new book I got, but also one that I finished. This was for the challenge inspired by or talking about Agatha Christie. And this is Agatha Christie, The Art of Her Crimes. This has to do with the paintings of, I have to keep flipping around because I'm using my phone. I'm having to look backwards. I'm not used to having to do that. The paintings of Tom Adams. So you have commentary both by Julian Simmons and also by Tom Adams himself. And what's nice about this is, for one thing, these are actually, his work was actually painted versus maybe being, you look at some of the covers, you can tell that these kind of covers, this most likely was not hand-drawn. It doesn't look like it was. If I was to give my guess, I would say it was probably digitally drawn. It just has a different feel. Whereas when you look through the work here, you can see that he's painted them. You can also see that he uses different mediums. There's been points where you can see some watercolor. You can see the oil. You can see where he's actually mixed mediums at times. I ended up showing this to my dad, who, even though he's not an Agatha Christie fan, I don't think he's ever read any of her books. I do believe he's watched the series, or at least parts of the series with Suchet. But I mostly showed it to him because I've mentioned before, and I've shown his gallery, when I did the, Framed in September challenge. And so he does his paintings for his enjoyment. He's self-taught, and probably primarily he would be considered a portrait artist. And one thing he noted, now he did appreciate the fact that this was definitely, like I said, painted or using several different mediums, even within the same work. But one thing he noted is that you can tell someone who is primarily a still life artist versus a portraitist. He says that he notices, now he does have a bias toward portraiture because he is a portrait artist, but he was saying that a portrait artist can go and do stills just as well, but an artist who is primarily a still life artist, he has a little bit more trouble having that talent cross over to portraiture. And so he felt like the better works of Tom Adams were his ones that were still life. And I mean, they're very interesting style. And I do have to agree that the ones where, like this one for the Hollow, I like the feel of that one. And let's see. The one for Postern of Fate, like, I don't think I've ever even seen a different cover for this one. I think I've only seen it with that cover. Although I'm sure it's had other covers. And now I haven't read Endless Night, but I actually kind of think that that cover is interesting. Don't know how it works within the book because that's one of the few I haven't gotten around to reading. But one of the ones I wanted to show was this one, The Murder at the Vicarage, which was the group read this time. And this is just a really interesting, the way he chose to integrate all the aspects of the book. And a very odd style choice. But yeah, I mean, I like it when he has two different covers together where you can kind of get an idea where, oh, I maybe like this one better of that same cover. Like this one here, both of these are Blue Train. I actually like this one better for Blue Train. It's a little bit busy, but it's actually kind of why I like it. And let's see, I was trying to find one other one at least to show. Now he will mention in here things like, yeah, I made a mistake here, or in retrospect, I probably should have had this in there or that in there, which is kind of a cool thing. But I had one other I think I wanted to show. This is one I've always liked, and this one I put in my book journal. I think I even showed it fairly recently in my book journal. I feel like I might flip through some of this. I can't remember. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed hearing his perspective. I enjoyed hearing him talk about some of the stylistic things he did. So, yeah, I forget which one he was mentioning specifically. I think it might have been for Easy to Kill / Murder is Easy, where he mentioned the fact that he did a couple of different stylistic things. Not that one here. That's Sitterford Mystery. Oh yeah, I think it was... No, it's not that one. Okay. He had one in here which I thought was really interesting. He talked about the different methods he used to get the effect that he did, but I can't find it immediately, so that is probably where this one will have to end, because unless I can find it immediately, it's just not going to. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop flipping through this now. But yeah, if you have any interest in art, or if you liked the old Tom Adams covers and can't find any of them for some reason for your own collection, or you just want the covers themselves and without having to necessarily have the books them take up space on your shelves, this is a really I found this enjoyable. But yeah, there's that one. I think that I will stop this video here and then start another video for the next part that I want to talk about. So thank you very much for joining me for this little brief Agatha Christie finished reads overview. So I will see you for the next video. God bless. Bye.